overall view of the Space Center, past, present, and future. And SpaceX made history at Launch Pad 39A way back in February, when they were the first private company to launch from Kennedy Space Center at Launch Pad 39A. It was also the first launch on that launch pad since July of 2011, when Atlantis lifted off of there. They made history back in March again, when they successfully launched a reused rocket, a rocket that had been launched and landed last year. They also proceeded to re-land it again this year, so they have made their rockets reusable. So the next time they're going to do that is actually at the end of June. They'll be launching another reused rocket with a satellite on the top. Now we are also on a wildlife refuge here, so you'll be able to see anything along the sides of the roads. We have between 5,000 and 6,000 alligators here at the Space Center. We also have 340 different species of birds. A lot of them are migratory birds that are only here in the wintertime. Among those birds are the bald eagles. Now we do have 17 active bald eagles nests here on the property. But besides the bald eagles, you're liable to see wild pigs. You're liable to see probably quite a few alligators we've seen today. A lot of them are small gators because, as you can see, we have not had much rain, and a lot of all the little side canals are all drying up. But we have seen quite a few little gators today, not too many big ones though. Now we do have a couple videos to see on the way out there, as well as some commentary in between the videos. And coming up here on your right-hand side in the badging station there is a Mercury Redstone rocket. The rocket itself is the Redstone. The little black capsule on the top is the Mercury capsule. And this is the type of rocket and capsule that Alan Shepard and Gus Grissom launched in the Gator in the early 1960s. There's another one. This is the type of rocket that started the manned space program over at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. And by today's standards, this rocket is pretty small. Little bed structure at the top of the capsule is the long.
Adjacent to the VAB is the Launch Control Center, the distinctively shaped four-story building which houses the launch team. This is where the ground controllers, engineers, and launch director monitor the spacecraft and manage all the activities leading up to launch.
Now on this side of the Vehicle Assembly Building, you have High Bay 4 on the left, High Bay 2 on the right. Now when the VAB was originally built, they were actually hoping to stack 4 Saturn V's at the same time. That never ever happened, and the shuttles and the rockets were both built on the east side of the building. This west side was pretty much used for storage. Now coming up here on the right-hand side is one of the two crawler transporters. Crawler transporters the vehicle that picks up the mobile launch platforms with the shuttles and the rockets and takes it out to the launch pad. That particular crawler has been inside the Vehicle Assembly Building for the past couple of years, getting upgraded for NASA's new rocket. It's had all of its motors and hydraulics replaced, so it'll be able to lift the heavy vehicle when it comes time. Also coming up on the right-hand side, one of 3 mobile launch platforms left over from the shuttle program. The crawler transporter would come over here, lift this up, take it inside the Vehicle Assembly Building. They would stack the shuttle on the top with the tail of the orbiter in between the 2 tail service masts there. And then the crawler would take the whole thing out to the launch pad just about 30 days before it was scheduled to launch. Now as we go past the platform, notice it only has 3 holes in the bottom, 2 in the back for the solid rocket booster engines, the one in the front for the main engines of the space shuttle. And that's where all the flames and exhaust would go through to get into the flame trench out at the launch pad. Also coming up on the right, this is the brand new 355-foot tall, or 108.2 meters tall launcher platform for NASA's Space Launch System. Crawler transporter would come over here, lift this up, take it inside the Vehicle Assembly Building. They will stack the rocket on the top, and then the crawler would take the whole thing out to the launch pad just about a week before it's scheduled to launch. Now as we go past this platform, notice it only has 1 rectangular hole in the bottom, and that will accommodate the 2 solid rocket boosters that make up the core of NASA's new heavy lift rocket, the Space Launch System. That's where the flames and exhaust would go through to get into the flame trench out of the launch pad. The umbilical tower on the top has several uses. There is an elevator in the umbilical tower which allowed the astronauts to get all the way up to the top of the rocket and climb into the capsule. But also all of the wiring for communications and electricity out of the launch pad is located inside of the umbilical tower. Gravel roadway here on the right, this is the crawler way, and And this is the roadway that the crawler transporter uses to go from the vehicle assembly building out to the launch pad. It is the size of an 8-lane highway with a grass median in the middle. Crawler transporter would take up the entire road and straddle that grassy median. Now, it was only 3 miles from here to the launch pad. It would take the crawler transporter between 6 and 8 hours to get it out there. Now, it actually goes down about 7 foot, different layers of fill and crushed rock, but the top 8 to 12 inches are Alabama river rock. And there are 2 reasons for the river rock. As it was going out to the launch pad, the crawler with the shuttle was carrying 18 million pounds. With the Space Launch System, it's going to be about 23 million pounds. The rock would crush and give it a very smooth ride. But also, this rock does not spark, and the solid rocket was just right filled with fuel. Now, to give you a general idea of actually how big the vehicle assembly building is, because there are no other buildings around it, if you look at the bottom right-hand corner there, that's an 8-foot people door that looks like a little mouse hole up here. Now, we are going to be crossing over the crawler right here, so you get a general idea of actually how large it is. We're also going to cross over it again out near the launch pads. Keep in mind, the crawler transporter takes up the whole entire road and straddles that grassy median. Now over to the front right over there, those buildings over there are the press site, CBS, NBC, CNN all have buildings over there. CBS building over there is where Walter Cronkite watched the first moon rocket take off and all the ceiling tiles fell on top of his head. To the left of that, right below the American flag, the blue rectangular box is the countdown clock. It is a new clock, it was only put up there in 2014 for the Orion launch. It has a multimedia screen on the front, so on launch day you would have a live stream from the launch pad with the time in the bottom right hand corner. By the balloon, see?
We are now approaching Launch Pad 39A. It was constructed for the Apollo program and is where all 12 moonwalkers began their historic journeys. You'll learn more about the Apollo program when you get to the Apollo Saturn V Center. Following the end of the Apollo program, Pad 39A was the site that launched Skylab, the first U.S. space station to orbit the Earth, on May 14, 1973. Skylab provided America's initial experience with long-duration spaceflight of 30 years. There were a total of 135 shuttle missions. 82 lifted off from this launch pad. The reusable space shuttle system transformed the way we operate in space. The space shuttle launched dozens of communication satellites, as well as robotic spacecraft on groundbreaking missions to Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. Not only did the shuttle deploy the Hubble Space Telescope in 1990, but it conducted 5 repair and upgrade missions that enabled the Hubble to literally rewrite astronomy textbooks.